I've had two analysts in the last couple of weeks who, by the way, I'm happy to hear they say they're regular listeners to Money Talks, but both said they'd heard a change of tone in me over the last couple of years. They said I'm kind of blunter, maybe harsher. And they're not the first to say that, and I think they're right, but I want to tell you the reason. I've got three grandchildren. I got three adult children. They deserve a lot better than a healthcare system that's better known for its wait list than treatment. Not long ago, my daughter took her 4-year-old to the emergency room, waited 6 hours before giving up and going back home, just like about 1.3 million Canadians did last year. Friends of my son, well, they deserve a lot more than the stress, the struggle of trying to find an apartment that's even in the ballpark of affordability, at least back to the levels they were before the government allowed unlimited temporary visas. And well, having no idea, by the way, how many people are actually coming to Canada, along with no planning for the housing. And then you get the municipal governments jacking up development fees and levies, et cetera. And that puts affordability out of reach. Something like 30% of the price of a condo in Toronto is related to government, 25% in Vancouver. As for a young person buying a home, well, forget about it in our major urban centers. It's literally not mathematically feasible to save for a down payment in the first place. I mean, given that as much as half their paycheck goes to some form of government, to the three levels, with what's left over gets eaten by the ever increasing cost of living, especially, as I say, food prices. It's not a political debate, though. It's a mathematical fact. The math says young people can't get into the housing market without financial help from other sources. National Post Tristan Hopper observes, you used to be able to safely ignore politics in this country and life would generally be the same. That's not the case anymore. Because as you know, whether you're paying attention or not, we don't have affordable homes, or we got wait lists, we don't have family doctors, the explosion of anti-Semitism. But here's the thing, along with over 40% of young people considering leaving the country, and it's all a direct result of government policy. Since the federal budget last April, if you take the federal debt growth along with the Liberal promises, you're jacking it up by $287 billion in the next 4 years. And I agree with at that time, Finance Minister Freeland's assessment, which it was actually hilarious. One of the funniest lines I heard, which was, she said it was irresponsible to continue to offload debt to our children. Well, I agree, but we're still doing it. Speaking of fairness, how about this one? Canadians love to talk about fairness. Is the fact that millennials contribute 20 to 40% more in income taxes toward baby boomer retirements than the boomers did for the retirees who came before them. Is that fair? Is it fair to young people that the average price to income ratio for buying a house is twice as high today than it was in the 70s and 80s and 90s? The cost of living, cost of taxation from three levels of government, significantly higher for young adults than it was for their parents and grandparents. As for healthcare, here's another stat. This is a system that refuses to make meaningful change, despite the fact that seniors over 65 will consume more in medical care, and hence tax dollars, than younger Canadians will in the first 6.5 decades of their life. So yes, I think the time to stop beating around the bush or soft pedaling it is long since over. We should stop worrying about political sensibilities. It's long since time we put and prioritize the younger generation, let alone the reality for the rest of us, top and center. Our children deserve it, Jewish Canadians under attack deserve it, and millions of Canadians struggling financially deserve it.